We are now just 25 days away from Star Wars Celebration, which is going to be the time and place of the official debut of the teaser trailer by J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that a lot of people are truly looking forward to seeing in this movie are, of course, the various cameos from the prequels and the originals that will be implemented into the story of this movie that will conclude the Skywalker saga. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi and, of course, actor Ewan Mcgregor. Now, specifically, it's described that there are plans in place for Ewan Mcgregor to provide work for the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi during the month of June for a sequence that is centered on the character of Rey. It's described that the dialogue planned for Ewan McGregor is to be placed over a scene in which Rey enters a hut on a desert world, most likely going to be Tatooine. It's implied to be Kenobi's hut since part of the set back in January featured the Kenobi huts as seen in Star Wars A New Hope. The dialogue is also said to be used for another Force-back sequence that will be inserted by J.J. Abrams and crew that will answer some long unanswered questions from The Force Awakens. The dialogue that is planned to be provided by Ewan is described to be quite involved with the character of Rey in the third act of the movie and will be treated as an inversion of the Luke and Yoda scene in Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams was the man responsible for really, laying the ground here for Obi-Wan Kenobi essentially being in the sequel trilogy. We got a little tease of this in The Force Back within Episode 7 where he says, Rey, these are your first steps. And for the longest time, a lot of people have been wondering on whether or not that line of dialogue, story-wise, was actually used as an element of the past, or Rey actually hearing an element of the future of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost, or maybe it was just Obi-Wan Kenobi while he was alive in the past. We're not quite sure about that line of dialogue. Now, as far as the lines of dialogue that Ewan McGregor is set to provide this June, alright? So, we do know that he's working on a couple of different projects right now, and he's going to be clearing up his schedule in order to do some ADR work, or some voiceover work, if you will, for Episode 9. Now, the thing here is this. We do know that this movie is going to have a lot of twists and turns, as well as a lot of revelations in the film that will be connected to some of the legacy characters, like Luke, Leia, and even, of course, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This movie really is going to go out with a bang by JJ, and it's really going to do everything possible in order to satisfy the fans around the world. So, in my opinion, having Ewan McGregor back in action for the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi, providing lines of dialogue, I think is fantastic. We also know that they're using his face as reference material in order to create a bridge of a version of course, Obi-Wan between the Alec Guinness version and the one that we got in the prequel trilogy era. So, with that being said, this whole entire sequence, most likely taking place on the planet Tatooine, I think it's pretty obvious at this point, right? Where the actual dialogue is going to be dubbed over a scene in which Daisy Ridley as Rey is inside of a hut on a desert world, and it's actually said that this desert world, this set actually involved a set piece that was Obi-Wan Kenobi's hut as seen in Star Wars A New Hope. So you can really see how all the dots are starting to connect. We do know that J.J. Abrams really wants to bring things full circle in this movie, and it seems as though that in the third act of the film, we are going back to Tatooine. Now, how clever would it be if J.J. Abrams kind of looks at Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi and uses that material of when Luke Skywalker is dying and sees the twin suns on Ahch-To, uses that material as a way to reshape it as, I guess you could say, a little hint of what's to come in Episode 9, foreshadowing, if you will. If he really wanted to reshape it like that, he could. So, we do know that this movie's really going to have a lot of surprises in the film, especially for the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren. Guys, I gotta say, I'm very fascinated about this movie. I'm very optimistic about it because this is the final installment of the Skywalker saga. We know that Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew really poured their heart and soul into this movie. And I'm just hoping, I'm crossing my fingers here, that it's going to be a whole lot better than that of both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and really is going to be the best of the trilogy. Like I say, my gut feeling, and this gut feeling is not going away. I really do feel like it's going to be the Revenge of the Sith of our time. So, you know, for those of you out there who are really upset with the way things are going within the sequel trilogy, you know, everybody has their own opinion, that's fine and all. But, you know, it might be worth it to just, you know, kind of keep your options open, maybe wait a week or two until you go ahead and see the movie, check out the reviews beforehand, and if you trust the reviews, then go ahead and see the film. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do for a lot of the fans that are having a lot of issues with the sequel trilogy. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.